What's up guys? Today I'm going to talk about Seth Godin and 5 of his most important marketing principles. But before I do, make sure that you guys are subscribed to our channel because we're going to be launching a lot more content on marketing, entrepreneurship, business, tech news, AI, productivity, and all sorts of stuff. So make sure to hit the bell to get notified on our latest videos. So I'm a pretty big fan of Seth's work, but for a very simple reason. I think Seth's ideas are very accessible and approachable no matter what level of knowledge you have in your marketing. He doesn't really dive too deeply into the technicals, although he doesn't ignore it, but he's just focused on the fundamentals. Like, what kind of change are you trying to bring as a marketer? Are you trying to spam people or are you trying to inspire them? Are you making things better by making better things? So Seth has written 23 books and more than 7,000 blog posts. And I'm sure you probably won't have the time to read through all of that. So I've put together 5 of his most important ideas and principles for you to enjoy. So first up is go make a ruckus. You'll hear Seth say this a lot, go make a ruckus. But whenever you hear or see Seth Godin speak, you'll notice that his manner is very gentle and soothing. He's calm, he's eloquent, he doesn't really scream to be heard. He's not spammy or scamming like all the other marketers out there. But don't be misled by that. At his core, Seth is a true rebel, and it's not uncommon to hear him say that we need more rebellion, less obedience, less compliance, more hubris, and more self-confidence in our society. And that's what it means to go make a ruckus. It's to rebel. It's about rebelling against the status quo, not accepting things as they are if you know that you can make things better. And that will sound quite hard for a lot of people because of the rules and limiting beliefs that they have, and a lot of it stems from their early age in school. So the school system, according to Seth, was developed by the industrialists who wanted to teach people to do what they're told to do once they enter the job market, just like a compliant factory worker. Seth is arguing very passionately against this very passive mindset. Out there in the real world, there are very few rules that you need to follow. The rest is pretty much up to you. You can change the culture, you can make things better, and the way to do that isn't by being average. It's by being remarkable and making something remarkable. The second one is find your purple cow. This is one of Seth's most iconic and enduring ideas, and the premise behind it is very simple. There's a lot of stuff and competition out there, and if you really want to stand out in the market, you've got to make something really remarkable. You've got to make something so remarkable that if people saw your product on a shelf in a supermarket or on their Facebook feed, people are just going to have to stop what they're doing and say, wait, what did I just see? Finding your purple cow is about creating something so phenomenal and delightful and counterintuitive and extraordinary all rolled into one. Finding your purple cow is about creating something worth making a remark about. That's what it really means to be remarkable. As a marketer, you should have this mindset in everything you build, do, and create. Because after all, great marketing is only great if your product or service is worth promoting in the first place. And it's the hardest principle to stick by. It's way easier to copy someone else's work or strategy and compete that way and get big short-term gains. But if you're in it for the long term, this will be the only sustainable way for you to grow, to find your purple cow and be remarkable. Number 3, be a linchpin. If you don't know what a linchpin is, here is a picture for you. A linchpin is a pin that passes through the end of an axle to keep a wheel in position. And when we apply it in the business context, a linchpin is the essential element. The person who holds part of the operation together. Ask yourself, are you an indispensable person in your organization? Or are you just someone who's doing what you're told to do and just playing it safe? For Seth, to be indispensable is to take risks, because the safest thing to do in business and in life is to take risk. To explain this idea, Seth talks about the popular myth of Icarus. In the myth, Icarus was told by his father not to fly too high or else his wings would melt and he would fall. Icarus didn't listen to his father and he died. And the myth as we know it would suggest that disobeying authority and taking risk would best be avoided. But that's not really the full story. If you read the original story, Icarus's father told Icarus not to fly too low either, otherwise he'd drown and he would die as well. And that's what Seth meant about taking risk, that there is really no such thing as safety when you're doing business. Because doing what feels safe can actually be compromising in the future. Instead, he tells us, be a linchpin, be indispensable, be someone who takes the intellectual and emotional risk to show the way forward, be someone who makes stuff that we can't live without, And to be a linchpin, you need two things. One, you need the courage to stand out and speak up your ideas, no matter what the reaction would be. Two, you can't wait for the right timing or the perfect opportunity to decide, because it doesn't exist. You don't need more time to decide. It's always the right time to move forward, to not be defeated by your fear. Search on Google how to grow your business. You're bound to find a lot of articles and videos on how to scale your business, how to 10x your revenues, how to grow your email list, and so on. But Seth is taking the opposite approach. He talks about finding the minimum viable audience. To understand this concept, you need to look at a normal distribution graph. This represents how innovative products and services spread. Most people find comfort in the middle, in the average. They're not really looking for something new. This is also where businesses that are focused on profits and maximizing at all costs are operating. But if you're thinking about operating in this part of the graph and in this part of the market, you'll find yourself quickly compromising on a lot of things. How do we reach more people? How do we get more people into our funnel? Which basically translates to, how do we get more average? And it's a race to the bottom. Instead, you should focus on a smaller part on the left side of the graph. This is a small percentage of innovators and adopters who are hungry for something better and who are most likely going to be looking for you. An easy test to see whether you've found the minimum viable audience is to look at your first 10 customers. See if they talk about your product. See if they share it with their families and friends. If they do, you found a minimum viable audience for you to focus on. Of course, it starts with a great product, but a lot of businesses with great products have failed. Instead, to find the minimum viable audience, you need to think about creating something that money cannot get you, which is a genuine connection with your customers and your community. And you need to have the desire to serve them with a lot of empathy and generosity. But very, very few marketers approach marketing with empathy. But Seth says that this is what makes all the difference. Because let's say if you were to disappear from the public tomorrow, would anyone miss hearing from you? Or would you be replaced in a matter of days? This is going to be a mini review of this book. Now, if you're a marketer and you only have time to read one book this year, you can't go wrong with this. Or listen to the audiobook if you're too busy. In this book, Seth talks about what it means to be a marketer today and what marketing is not. Seth outlines two problems of marketing today. One, there's a group of marketers who are only focused on spamming, interrupting, tricking people into buying and doing things they don't want to do. Two, there's another group of marketers who might be willing to improve marketing, but don't like to call themselves as marketers because they're the first group of scam and spam marketers. What I got from this book is that there's a different way to think about marketing, if I want to. Marketing is not done to people, it's done with people. Marketing should always be approached with an act of changing people's lives. You do that by bringing something that you've made to someone who needs it. Or you do that by seeing someone's need and making something remarkable for them. It's a simple principle, but it's a principle that I think most of us can forget very easily. But if we start at this point, changing people's lives, I think it's easier to imagine the dreams and hopes of our potential customers. And once that becomes second nature for us, I don't think it's ever hard for us to sell what we make, because we're ultimately changing people's lives for the better. Alright, here's a recap of Seth Godin's marketing principles. Go make a ruckus. Be a rebel. You can change the culture, and you can make things better by making better things. 2. Find your purple cow. Make something remarkable. If you want to stand out in this competitive market, you have no choice but to make something so delightful and extraordinary that people can't stop talking about it. 3. Be a linchpin. Be an indispensable person in your organization by taking risk. Have the courage to speak your ideas out loud no matter what the reaction would be. Show us the way forward. 4. Find your minimum viable audience. It's the smallest group of people who you can adequately serve and who could possibly sustain your work. 5. Marketing is not done to people. It's done with people. It's not about spamming or scamming people into buying things they don't want. It's about changing people's lives for the better by bringing something you've made to someone who needs it. Did you like this video or not so much? What do you think you could have done better in this video? Tell us in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.